My students and I were looking at sentences like this in our textbook. And these sentences were really difficult for my students. They couldn't quite understand the ideas the sentences were expressing, and they didn't really know how to write them. And the textbook wasn't really helpful. It kind of said, copy these sentences down. And it didn't explain anything. And I thought, this is the perfect chance for us to help ourselves. We are going to have to make our own grammar. And that's all grammar really is. It's people explaining their language to themselves. And we're people, and now this is our language. So this is something I knew that we could do. I told my students we'd do for this. We'd look for patterns, we'd see what idea was expressed, and then we'd look and see what's the same in all the sentences, and find a grammar rule about how we write these kinds of sentences. We practiced on some kind of simple Vietnamese sentences, and I did this because the basic Vietnamese grammar is really, really easy. We looked at these sentences, and right away my students could see patterns. They could figure out the word for I, and they could figure out the word for no, or for making a verb negative, and that's the pattern I asked them to find. I said, how do we make a verb negative in Vietnamese? And they all figured out we just put this word in front of the verb. If we keep looking for patterns, we saw lots of other things too, like the verbs don't change in Vietnamese for the past, the present, or the future. It was pretty simple and pretty clear. English isn't that easy. So it got more and more difficult for us. But we did the same thing. I said we're going to look back at the original sentences. We're going to see what patterns we can find. We're going to try to understand the idea that these sentences express. And then we'll write some rules so we can teach this to each other. And I don't want to tell you their answers yet. I'd like to see if you have some good answers. We did okay. We got a good sense of what the sentences are expressing, and we made some rules, but when we checked our rules and looked back at these sentences again to see if they followed our rules, we found that our rules were not really accurate enough. There were too many exceptions, which is always a problem in English. Do you think you can help us? Can you tell us what these sentences express? Can you explain to us some rules to tell us how to make these sentences? I know it's a lot to ask, but maybe it's a good challenge for you. It was a great challenge for us. If you got any ideas at all, put them in the comments section below. Thanks so much.